Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Succeed with Software podcast. This is Mike. I'm going to be your host today. And we're going to continue a series that we're starting. We're calling, the working title is Meet a SuiteMate. So yeah, we call our customers, we call our fans, we call the people that spread the word about SuiteDash, we call them SuiteMates. And we have a SuiteMate here with us today. And his name is Alex Flemmings. All right, Alex is the owner and founder of a business called Pixeworks, which is looks like it's a play on Pixelworks, but Pixeworks is awesome. And the short description of Pixeworks is a boutique agency that focuses on establishing a digital version of your physical business, as well as an overall online presence. I think that's a smart way to talk about it, Alex. Actually, I mean, a lot of people haven't yet come to the conclusion, which of course seems pretty obvious to those of us who live kind of in more of a digital world, but the website, your digital presence, which you described there, is really the same thing as your building, your storefront in the modern world. You know, in the old days, the banks and anyone that wanted to be in big standing in the community, they like to build big, impressive buildings, you know. And that really solidified their stature in the community, and also the trust with their customers. Your online presence is the equivalent of that today, I think. And so Alex is here to tell us about how his business is working, how maybe he went through a journey looking for software. And now I'm just going to pass on to Alex and let him tell us more about his business. Welcome, Alex. Welcome to the Succeed with Software podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Mike. By the way, great intro. Absolutely love it.
Well, on the fly, but yes, it's 100% true, right? Yeah, I'm sure you can borrow that, Alex. That's not copyrighted, so go for
it. Yes, thank you so much. And of course, yes, you nailed it. You nailed it on the head. Yes, we try to look at your digital business as how you would look at your physical business. I think if you pay attention to your brick and mortar, or even if you don't, but you know, there are aspects in the way you would make sure that every part of your physical business is being taken care of. This is how we should kind of treat your digital business, you know? So yeah.
You know, you see that old thing in movies where a shopkeeper will come out in the morning, every morning, and spray off the sidewalk or sweep it off, and just, you know, taking care of that. You know, website and your digital presence is a lot more than just, let's make it one time, throw it out there, and how I check that box, let's move on. Yeah, it's much more than that in the way that we're describing. So continue, please.
Yes. Websites nowadays is different. I mean, back in the day, when somebody says, "Hey, build me a website," it used to be the cool thing to just have a website.
Right.
Now everybody has a website, and most of them are pretty bad. And when you take a look at it, you're just drowning in this large digital ocean, and it's just like a pain to be found. You get lost in the digital noise, actually.
Right, and then what's the point of having it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where our business tries to kind of help you to navigate through that space, because a website nowadays, it has to be more than just, you know, establishing credibility. First of all, it has to look great.
Yeah.
And it has to attract the customer, pull them in, and of course, you have to use it to communicate with your customers. Customer service is important also. And just having an overall relationship with your customers, that's very, very important.
Right. And the way I like to think of it is digital presence, your website, I guess is one way to call that. But digital presence is a better way, because we want to think of your digital presence as almost like an employee, right? I mean, how can I make this presence work for me and do work for me and create productivity and reduce the amount of work that we have to do. And once you start thinking of it like that and start thinking of workflows and automations, you really your business can open up in a way that you really never imagined.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit, Alex. I think I'd like to get to know you a little bit more. We've talked a little bit, but this is a good opportunity for us to get to know each other a little more, and also our listeners. So tell me about your background a little bit and how that's relevant, and just as much as you're interested in sharing, that we'd love to hear it.
Oh, yes. Well, um, sure. I'll share my street creds. Um, my background is really in design and tech, and I kind of have this love-hate relationship. But it all began for me as a what I would like to say a street designer. Like I wasn't formally trained or anything. I just went to an office. It was a newspaper
Mm-hmm.
um, in Ocherous, Jamaica. That's where I'm originally from. And
Should I make the obligatory Jamaica Mon joke now? Or
yes, yeah,
okay, all
man.
right, let's do it. We have to do it. It's required. But yes, please.
Yes,
What a beautiful country. Please continue. Yeah, I love it.
yes. And I said to the owner, I would love to work with you. And he said, I'm going to teach you how to lay out pages, pagination. So I got my start in there and I got pretty good at it. And before you know it, a larger company wanted me to work for them. So they hired me as their junior designer, and I worked my way up to a senior designer and then a creative director. And then,
Nice.
yeah, so then I saw this guy come to the office one day, and he was in charge of all the filming and stuff. And I was like, that is so cool. I want to learn how to do that. And then I threw down graphic design for a second, and I started to pursue filmmaking. So I came to the United States to pursue, my degree in that area, and I completed it. But while I was completing it, I needed to make some money. Of course, I was a student. I needed to make some money, so I started freelancing on the side. And while working for a client, doing all these fantastic graphics, he said to me, "Hey, by the way, can you make me a website?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." Of course, I didn't know how to make a website.
Of course I can. Yeah. Well,
Right.
look, fake it until you make it is how you really get started in life. I think if you're really looking to go somewhere, sometimes you have to try things, and honestly, you have to assure someone that really what you're saying is, well, yes, I can do that, and what you really mean is, well, maybe I haven't done it before, but I will not fail. I will make it happen, and you just do it. Yeah.
Oh yes. It was adventurous for me because I used to I used to sit down with crackers and this large book from Macromedia. Back then,
Oh
Adobe
yes,
didn't.
sir. Uh huh.
Yeah, Adobe didn't purchase Flash or Dreamweaver yet. So
I'm
I'm
right with
reading
you,
this book.
Alex. Macromedia Flash back in the old days. I personally made many animations in Macromedia Flash. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope we don't sound too like grandfathers on here, but
Exactly. Yeah, you know they canceled Flash, Alex. We're outdated.
oh
Flash
yeah,
is
we're kind of outdated.
Flash is banned. We're so old. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, but it nevertheless, the site turned out horrible, but he loved it.
Mm.
It was looking back, it was so terrible. But fast forward, we got better, new technology, and before you know it, we're at Web 2.0 and all this craze. And then the Apple iPhone came, and then now websites had to be smart, and then now we had to generate leads, and then once we got the leads, we had to build a relationship, and there's where my problems began. In
Mm.
I needed a CRM. I needed some kind of a portal to handle all these clients, and That's when my journey
Mm-hmm.
began, searching
Mm-hmm.
for that portal, that all-in-one thing.
Yeah, in the beginning of that journey, and I've been there and I've seen it from other perspectives as well. I think you really don't. It's kind of like boiling the frog kind of example, right? It starts
Yes,
off, things start happening, then they happen more, and you're celebrating, and you're kind of thinking, "This is awesome. My business is doing really great." And then you reach that realization at some point that if this goes any faster, we're gonna spiral out of control. We're just gonna start dropping balls, and that's when, unfortunately, with the time that you really need all the organization that you didn't realize you need, suddenly you have to find it, you have to implement it, and you have to do all that while you're busier than you ever have been. And that becomes a challenge for sure.
yes. And speaking about busy, when you are a solo entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
is that the term, solopreneur?
Solopreneur is tough to say, but it's the real
Solopreneur,
word. Yep.
tongue twister. Yeah,
Yes.
when you're all by yourself, you tend to wear many hats.
Yep.
Because here's the truth, Mike. The truth is, while working, at my day job, I was a really good employee. I was really good at what I did. Um, Several awards,
Hey.
employee of the month. But when it came to running my business, I was a terrible business owner.
I hear
I
you.
knew nothing about business. I was just a great creator. And so
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I learned is that when you are there by yourself, you don't have a team, you're just starting out, you're freelancing, you tend to wear many hats.
Yes.
And while you're wearing many hats, you have to be your own accountant, you have to be your own salesperson, you have to be the designer. You need to have many hands. And one of the things that I used to overcome this was to use several softwares.
Mm.
Um, Back in the day, there wasn't many softwares that kind of grouped everything together, really. Um, the closest to anything out there, it is a software that has the word hats in its name, really.
Yeah. I think I've heard of that. Yep. So there's a few out there for sure,
Yeah,
and this
definitely.
the trend is moving in this direction, and so we feel like we're right at the forefront of that kind of trend, and certainly our goal is to be in is still in that conversation at the top of that conversation in 4 or 5 years when the masses realize, why am I using 6 different softwares? So when that happens, I think it's going to be a good thing for everyone. But those of us who have been thinking this way for a long time will be right at the forefront. Um, what I wanted to say there was, first of all, one man band is a lot easier to say than entrepreneur or solopreneur. So
So
maybe you could
yeah,
pick that one up. And it
one
also,
one man band.
yeah, one man band. And then in general, yeah, the journey to go from where you were to try to put all those software solutions together, as you tell us about how you kind of started thinking, well, what do I need, and then what did you try, and how did you try to solve that problem before you um, were introduced to SuiteDash?
As my problems arise, I've tried to find a software that would kind of solve that problem. If I needed a scheduler, I get a scheduler. If I need a proposal, I used to. Oh, let me tell you about writing proposals from scratch.
Oh,
My goodness, it was a struggle. If I needed to, bill a client, I have to get a different software for that, and it's work managing all these softwares. And the closest I even got to that was this app by Adobe called Business Catalyst. And if any of my suite mates out there are listening right now, the heartbreak that we went through with Business Catalyst. It was so hard to learn. It was clunky. Stuff did not work. And then after investing all our time, uh, they announced the end of life, and it just sent all the partners just scrambling, and we're so heartbroken and mad. And they didn't communicate with us well. It was a heartbreaking journey. And this is one of the things that I got real excited about finding a SuiteDash. It's like having tutorials, having this weekly
The webinar, I think you mean.
webinars,
Yes.
a community that you could talk to, other persons in your same area, same field. You have a question. That alone in itself is just worth the investment. I can tell you that.
Yeah, we do our
But
very
yes,
best to make it approachable, and there will be, of course, with anything that you're going to try to approach that is powerful, you're going to find that you have to invest some time to understand how it applies to you, how you can put it to work. But with SuiteDash, I really feel like, and I know for sure that your investment will come back to you in saved hours, in refinements, in accuracy, and in all the ways that you can set up these automations to trigger each other. One thing goes to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing through your workflow, and you're just managing that process in a way instead of recreating it over and over. I mean, how many times have you tried to put together a contract or proposal like you're saying, and you want to copy it from a previous job, and then you're staring cross-eyed at your Word, Microsoft Word, or whatever it is, trying to make sure that you don't make a mistake and include the old client's name in the new client's contract. And then, despite your best efforts, you find out after you send it, yeah, I did that, and now I'm kind of embarrassed, and it's just a lot of work, right? A lot of tedious things that should be much easier.
it definitely is a lot of work. And I can tell you, I don't miss that at all. Actually, I was actually I was real happy. I mean, finding SuiteDash. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story, and I'm not sure you know this. I know we were talking earlier, but I'm not sure if I told you this. But I wasn't looking for SuiteDash actually. I was on the web. A client had asked me, "Hey, we need some kind of a portal to put our documents in and so forth." And I was saying, okay, let me, like I always do. Yeah, sure, we can do that. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because like I said, I've tried everything. So I know what works, what doesn't work, and we're a company that focuses on the client experience, the customer experience. If the customer is having a bad time, it's probably not going to work out, even for us. So I started looking again, and I found SuiteDash, and I was like, okay, cool. I can customize it. Cool. All right, let me sign up, and I did it. And over a weekend, customized a portal and attached it to their website. They did their special presentation to some important personnels, and they called me back on Friday on a team, all excited. Alex, thank you so much. We looked so professional. It was so smooth. It was so easy. It was great. So now I'm looking at the software. I was like, you know what? Let me take another look inside. And awesome. I'm like, you know what? I need to use this for our company. I was not paying attention closely, Mike. This thing is amazing. This thing hear, man. Is like a Swiss Army knife of business solutions. It's fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, Alex, yeah, thank you. So the design of this software is not. We started to solve the very problems that you are talking about. So a little bit about my history, which I think most people kind of know, is that I've been in technology since before websites were websites. We were
Right.
building these things way back, and so that led to an agency early in that boom period of websites where we were picking up clients very regularly and built a nice healthy client base and ran into all the same problems you were running into. And we started trying to build WordPress plugins to handle that, and we did that, but then we realized this is a lot of work to try to keep multiple WordPress plugins working on all these different plugin combinations and theme combinations, et cetera, et cetera. And SaaS was becoming, software as a service was becoming, of course, the next wave. And that was an easy decision. Let's go to software as a service so we can control the server, control the code, control everything, and provide a simple, uh, predictable, reliable user experience. So that's where we went. And then we just started thinking, how would we want this to work if we were a customer? And the flexibility and the white labeling and all the things that we would like to see, that's where we started as requirements. And we built what I think is a very flexible piece of it's a framework, a platform that you can take and put together in almost any way that you need it to work. Connect it, white label it, personalize it, just extend your brand and look really professional doing it. So I hope that's what we've done.
Definitely, definitely. I I've had nothing but positive um, results. In fact, I have already started using it with a few more of my other clients,
Mm-hmm.
and this thing is truly, truly universal.
Mm-hmm.
It's it fits into every niche, I think. So far, I've used it already, you know, for its HIPAA compliance.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have sensitive information, and this thing is rock solid. In fact, I've also used it in a way of a like sort of a membership site.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've also used this. I use Personally, I use a project management app the most with my team.
Mm-hmm.
But this, and also I should mention, this thing can be used as a digital asset management. And,
What you
and,
mean,
and,
like
and
a file repository, basically? Some is similar. What you mean, or?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And my marketing friends can relate to having like having their brands in one folder.
Oh, I see. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, if you're social media, for example, social media
right.
producer or something like this, you can keep. It's designed to keep everything in a way that's nice and clean. We also provide for you designers out there and agencies. We provide a private folder for every client that the client cannot absolutely not see anything that's in there. And that's where
Yes,
your vector files belong. That's where your source files belong. They're organized by the client, easy to find, always there. And if you want to and then suddenly deliver that vector file to the client, then you just change the folder to their shared folder, and that's it. It's done. They get it. So yes, those kind of things we absolutely thought about. Funny that you mentioned the membership site. One of the niches that we're uh, expanding towards and trying to just create proof of concepts to illustrate that SuiteDash can work just like is sort of the Patreon Substack space where creators are
yes.
able to just create a membership area with different levels, and some levels get to see these pages and some levels get to see those pages, etc. But 100% we can it's doable. You can make a very nice white label, no branding, no Patreon, no Substack, and no splitting the revenue with those people, I should say. So yes, it's very flexible, can be used in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
Speaking about white label,
Mm.
and I don't really want to sound like a fanboy, but I really think that the white label is executed well in terms of the domain. And I'm not sure if this was intentional, but I noticed that in the top right of the app, there's this little lifesaver icon.
Mhm.
Even that seems to be white label. I'm not sure because I've looked through and I haven't seen anything.
I'll admit, Alex is 100% intentional, neurotically so, as we said last week. Yes. So here's something that our white label, and
Yes.
maybe I'm not sure if you've realized this yet, but we intend that an agency like yourself, okay,
Yes.
you would be able to talk to your client and say, I can provide for you this a software suite that's personal to you, everything white labeled, or you don't even say white labeled, you just say, I'm going to provide this for you. They don't need to know who it is, why it is, who provided it. Then you're gonna you resell essentially SuiteDash to them. You are in possession of all their logo files and everything that you need to easily white label it, set up everything. We even just introduced what we call white label CNAME records. So previously you would have to ask them, if they were in control of their DNS, you would have to say, hey, please point your DNS to app.suitedash.com. But now
Right.
we have 6 or 8 different very generic, like portalsoftware.com, just really plain white vanilla, so that you can give them that, and they still don't understand or know, and they don't need to. It's not trying to sneak anything by them, but more so just, hey, let's not raise these questions, so they start to, well, what's that all about? And you maintain the control of your brand, you maintain that service, and you can white label everything, pass to them. You keep the super admin keys, which is your login. You'll always have that. You create admin level logins for them, pass that over. They can log in, use every functionality in the application, but they can't access the white label settings. They don't know they exist. Anything that reveals SuiteDash is not visible to them, and including the documentation. The onboard documentation is there for them to understand and learn how to use the app without you. It's all there on board, and it's all white label. There's no mention of SuiteDash in that documentation either. So it's really set up for you to use as a tool to, of course, for your business, but also as something that you can take and build a new vertical in your own business and make your clients happy, make yourself happy, and no one and your brand remains in focus only, not us. So that's that. It's all intentional, and it's all by design to help you do exactly. So our roots are uh, exactly where your roots are, Alex. We all we think the same. We want to work with our clients in the same way, and I think that's why we kind of know what to build that you would like.
Oh yeah, and you definitely did that. I really thank you, Mike. I appreciate
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's good to hear that.
it.
It's nice to hear when your work is appreciated. That's for sure. So I'll definitely not cut you off if you want to do that. But of course, I do also want to say, Sweet Dash is a work in progress. It's really come a long way. It's very good. We're really proud of what we have, but we're also really excited about the future and all the things that are coming down the road. So yeah. And that's the great thing about SaaS software, right? You might when you wake up some days, you have new features. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, thanks. Yeah. And it
I,
costs the same amount of money, right?
yes.
In
I,
some
I was
cases.
about to say it's in within the first month of using this, it already pays for itself.
Hmm.
And I'm not just saying that. It saves time, it saves money. It's already all together, and it it makes sure that your brand, like you said, is at the forefront. And if you're like you're nervous wreck like I am sometimes when it comes to branding
Hmm.
and white labeling and custom domains and all this stuff, the impersonation tool is going to be your best friend. The impersonation mode, you can see what the customer sees. You know, you can kind of go into stealth mode. It's very, very useful tool.
Yeah, it's really cool. We don't talk about it enough, I think, actually. But
It's very
so what Alex is referring to is if you go into your CRM uh, from anywhere that you can see a client, or you're looking at client's information, you'll have an option to quote unquote impersonate. And what that does is when you select that for a particular client, you'll have a reload in your browser. And what you see when you hit a reload is the exact pixel for pixel view that your client will see when they log in. Okay, and you can navigate as the client. You can even operate as the client. Like, for example, if you had a client call you on the phone, Alex, and say, "Hey,
yes.
I don't want to, I don't have time for this, or I'm doing something else. Can you just take a credit card over the phone?" Well, you know what you could do is, if you don't have like a terminal or whatever else you might need to do that, they have an invoice in your portal. You can impersonate them and take the credit card over the phone and just enter it just as you're them, process the payment just like they did. And it's exactly the same thing. And then when you're finished, you log out as them. We have an impersonate like a toolbar, and you just click log out, and then it reloads right back into your super admin account or whatever account you're in. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
In,
So you can always know what your customers will see, or what they are seeing, what their experience is like in every case. Yep.
and
That's
it's
a good
great
point.
customer service without even, trying to give customer service. It's so important, In fact, this tool is what I use to create my custom dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite features of SuiteDash is that I get to customize my own dashboard. And I pushed it to the limit. I will admit.
That's great. We love customers like yourself, and of course all. But man, I love it when people are saying, "Well, here's what I did. Here's what I did." And we've even had some customers. I will admit, we've had customers that when once I realized what they did, uh, I thought, "Wow, I didn't even think of that." I mean, I didn't even realize that would be a cool way to do things, and B, this it's possible. And somehow we didn't know. But yes, with the tools, because they are so flexible, people are really stretching and pushing the envelope of what can be done, and some of it is quite impressive. Yeah.
and, and this is why I like to call it the Swiss Army knife
Yes.
of all-in-one business solution. It really is like
Yeah.
you can use SuiteDash in so many creative ways. You add a little bit of CSS at the bottom, and you could customize this thing to the T. It is wonderful. I don't mean to be gawking. It's
No,
just
that's okay. That's okay. I mean, but let me ask this though, Alex. I mean,
yes,
good. I'm glad you appreciate it. It's awesome. You have skills. You're a designer and developer, not developer, but you came up into that through that web path, and so you know about these things. But in your opinion, and maybe you have some experience with your clients, what would you say if I asked, do you think that just a regular business owner, a person who's, of course they have a phone and they're running that phone okay, but they don't have experience building websites. Is there a learning curve? Yes, I think the answer is yes. But how steep is the learning curve? Maybe the educational resources that we provide. Do you think that, what's your assessment of the accessibility of achieving what the kind of things that we're talking about?
well, to be honest with you, and I will confess, when I first stumbled on SuiteDash, I was doing this for a customer, and I was quite busy. It was on a weekend, and I did not feel like coding or doing any fancy anything. And
Mm-hmm.
normally I don't do any coding. I have team members who do this, but I did not customize this as a front end developer. I customized this as a regular person
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to get this finished by the weekend. It took me a day and a half. And I went like a regular person would do. I go on to the SuiteDash website, and this website is beautiful now, but back then you guys had a different type of website, different look, but I was still able to find the tutorials. And from that tutorials, I was able to customize and do some advanced things, especially in the quick tips section. Very, very useful. Yes. Very, very useful. I was able to be up and running and looking really good.
Looking really good.
Looking really, really good.
That's great. I think some of the thing you're talking about is SuiteDash Academy, which I'll just kind of pop a screenshot up. And there's a video training series and a how-to series, and these are all designed. Yes, good. So these are all designed to give you just a really simple walkthrough how to set up your own white label mobile app, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, these are designed to be just drop dead simple. Look, let's look at the screen. Okay, read what it says. And next card, look at the screen, do what it says. You know, this is not in a way for us to say, you know, you're not smart enough to figure this out. It's just in a way to say, hey, what you do for a living, you're great at. We get that. But you can't be great at everything. Let us just make it easy for you.
Yes.
So we put in a lot of extra work, a lot of extra effort to produce these resources and to set you free. And you were on a weekend, right? And you did it on a weekend, which
I
means
did it on a weekend.
You had very little exchange with our help support, although they are active on the weekend. But yeah, so you didn't have to wait on anyone. You didn't have to ask permission. You just had all the resources and you just took off. And that weekend or the day and a half, you customized your logo, your emails, your colors, your custom URL, your custom login, your white label mobile app. And suddenly you have the infrastructure for your business that some Fortune 500 companies don't even have, right? And it's all white label, your colors, your brand, and nothing else is showing.
Yes, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the mission of my company, because I'm a small business owner, and I experience on a daily basis what small business owners go through, and I think SuiteDash helps to level it's one of the tools that helps to level the playing field, where you could be very professional, branded, you know, the automation to help manage a team, or if you're a one-man band, you know, help with the automations will definitely help you. Great support, great community. And you know, I can't stop saying how happy I am with this tool.
That's great. So glad to hear it. Okay, how about this, Alex? Have you done the PWA, installed that on your device, and do you use it as an admin side, and maybe you have customers using it or set that up before?
Well, have I? Not only, hey, that's one of my selling points, actually.
Of course.
I was like, you know, we could set this up for you and set up your very own app on you know, for your company. Did you know we could do that? And yes, we did.
That gets their attention.
Yes, we did.
That gets their attention. Having a company logo on your company logo on someone's device, so that every time they open their iPhone or their Android, they see, oh, there's Alex's logo. There's Pixeworks, and you know, talk about a way to set yourself apart from competition. Once that happens, and you provide excellent service and excellent product, then is there really any way that they'll choose someone else or recommend someone else? The answer is almost certainly no, of course.
Yes, and it works well. You know, you don't have to go to the app store or anything. You know, you have the link, you save it on your device, and it shows up like an app. I've done this also for customers, their logo, it shows up on their device like an app, and they love it. In fact, the Android version will prompt you to install. It's really cool. I
Yeah,
love it.
we are working on a methodology that so you say on Android it has an install this app button that displays, and
Yes,
it's because Android side has embraced PWAs slightly faster than the Apple side.
yes,
Um, Basically, PWA is a cutting edge technology that is moving in the direction of replacing native apps in many cases. And Apple, of course, you know that they are kind of blocking certain apps from the App Store. They really are motivated by profit. Of course, they're a company. I don't
yes,
blame them, of course. But what they don't want is a bunch of boilerplate, low value, free apps for a million companies, a billion companies all over the world in their App Store. They don't want that. Why
right,
would they, right? They got to go
right.
through all the admin to get it in there, and who knows what kind of bad actors are there. They don't want to handle that. So what we see them doing, and of course it makes a lot of sense, is they just exclude all these boilerplate apps, and if they're not bringing a lot of value and not everything's not happening right there in the app in the native app, then they're being excluded. And this is setting the stage for PWA to step on the scene, where a progressive web app is 100% the same code base as your actual web app, but it reconfigures itself to be almost like a native app. I mean, really, really close. And as they open more doorways to things like push notifications and to camera and all these other things that are coming, I think, down the line very soon, we are committed to being on the cutting edge of that. And I can demonstrate that really. Just talk about one of the things we're doing now is that we have an angle to create a certain type of a connection with an iPhone so that it would, instead of, it doesn't say install this app, but it pops a little comment notification over top of the toolbar and it says this application can be installed on your phone. Click here to do that. So yes, I mean that can happen soon. Custom splash screens, custom icons, custom all kinds of things that you'll be able to do with that application and still have it be white label. So I brought PWA, the progressive web app, up because it is a big part of our strategy. It's a big part of your strategy, is what I'm hearing, and it's an important part of the future, as we all understand that mobile is a very big part of the future.
Yes.
Good.
Um, eh, Progressive web apps. I think it's the future because of some of the builders and the platforms that we use to create some of these websites are also moving in that direction. And I feel like um, SuiteDash, that's a good move for SuiteDash to also be in this space. So yes,
hmm And it also allows us to give the white to do the white label side of it. Whereas if we would have
yes,
been if we would go to the native what they call a native mobile app route, which means installing from the Google Play Store, from the Apple App Store, then white label's out the door. There's no way that's happening, right? Because we have to stand in front of Apple and say, "This is SuiteDash. This is our code. Please look at it." We can't go to them 100 times a week and say, "This is Pixeworks." It's just, of course, they just never let that happen. So um, PWA fits into the white label strategy as well, and very nicely. And I think it's worth saying. It's important to say it doesn't cost you any extra. This is not an upsell. This is not a add-on. The PWA. It's just part of every account that we sell here. It's or every account that we activate here. Even the $19 a month account, PWA. You have your own mobile app, white label. So, okay. I think we beat that one to death, Alex.
but so Mike, if I may ask you a question,
Please.
um, what are the things you have up your sleeves? I
Ah,
I recently visited the community and you demoed like some sort of a LMS coming up in the like you had mock-ups of some sort of
yes.
learning management system that you were showing in the community.
Yes. So
Um,
actual mock-ups, and some of them working and some of them functional. So LMS is well along in development, and we are targeting sometime in October. We're hoping we can still do it. It might go a little bit longer, but it's just we're in this sort of final phase of testing and packaging and proving and making everything work. We are building in on a built-in video hosting system that will allow for protection of your material, of your valuable videos that you spent time making. They're not going to end up pirated on some site for sale, and you all kinds of really kind of uh, helpful implementations of LMS. So LMS, I'll spend maybe a minute just to describe our flavor of LMS. Now, look,
yes,
there's LMS of for colleges and for schools and these kind of things. Those are more really targeted to an educational system.
right.
Ours is really more targeted to making money, basically. To create a product. Let's create a product that's consists of this information, these courses, these videos. We're going to be able to sell that product. We're going to be able to take payment immediately for that product, add people directly into our CRM on the way in, select their circle, start them on this email marketing drip, make them sign this, go here and do this contract if that's a thing, or anything that you like. I mean, imagine even like a Patreon style implementation where one of the things that you might offer your members is the ability to take a class. It's to access some information that you put together in a very structured way. And at the end, maybe you have a fun little quiz for them, and that becomes even another asset that you can offer as a value add. So
Yes.
LMS is big. Support tickets is something that we're in a heavy planning phase for now, and that
Ah,
will be the very next big feature after LMS, and it's really close to even starting development. We're
very
excited about that
exciting.
one. Um, I could go on for quite a while. Those are two very big ones, but um, I guess stay tuned. Join the community, right? Because the community is where these things start to be discussed and brainstormed. Even, I mean, we've even been in the community before and said, okay, here are the things. Here's what we are looking to build. Let's, here's if this is your chance. Give us all the feedback you want. Good, bad, ugly. Let's hear it. And so we ask some clarifying questions and go back and forth until we really feel like we've heard the community and understand what they mean, and then we go back to the planning board and make sure we're covering all those angles. So that really helps us, and we thank the community for that. And it's the best way to be as a company, in my opinion, as a software company trying to solve real world problems. If you're not listening to a community and getting feedback and reacting to that in an aggressive way, then I think you're just kind of fooling yourself to think that you can understand other people in a deep way. You just can't. I can't understand the challenges you have in Burlington, North Carolina, North Kakalaki, as we.
Kakalaki.
Yes, sir. For those of you listening, Alex and I are both in North Kakalaki right now, so we get along about that for sure. Um, but I can't understand what your challenges are there. I can try to, I can pretend to, and I can even lie to myself and tell me that I do understand. But that's false. I need to hear it from you for sure.
Yes, I'm definitely excited about the support tickets because currently right now, I kind of use. I know I can get work orders, use work requests,
Mm-hmm.
sort of like a makeshift support um, ticketing system, but I kind of use the the Kanban, the project management section,
Mm-hmm.
where on the Kanban layout, I kind of have the you know tags that I can relabel and says completed, in progress, resolved,
Sure.
and I can actually customize and change the labels,
Right. The
and
categories
the
there. Yeah.
menus to kind of fit it right now. But having a dedicated support ticketing system Sounds awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, so if you'll indulge me, I would like to let me talk about support tickets just for a sec,
Oh,
and
yes.
I'll preface all this by making it really, really clear to anyone that hears this: we do not have this feature now. This feature is not going to be next week. It's going to
Right.
be in somewhere between, say, 3 and 4 months from now before you could expect to see it. But we're heavily in the planning phases, and so what it will be is pretty well known to us. And I want to say that because SuiteDash has all the other pieces and parts, all the Legos we like to say around here to accomplish so
Yes.
many things, we can build a support ticket system that from day one will have huge advantages over of just plain support ticket system, and I'll explain how. So imagine that you are just a regular support or a business like a web design business and you need support tickets. That's fine. You're supporting your customers. And so you're going to get the ability to offer them a way to send tickets in, to manage those
Yes.
tickets, get responses, and really cover their needs in a way that they makes them feel special and taken care of. Great. That's wonderful. But what if you are, say, an IT support team that's your way of using support tickets is that you accept a payment or a subscription to your services. And then when people submit a ticket, it becomes, or maybe they need to sign a contract with you and all these other things that can come along with, okay, now I need to, you sign up here. That's going to start you on a subscription. Then that's going to trigger a contract for you, which, by the way, is a template and is automatically filled in on the fly as an automation and delivered to them for signing. Then, when they sign, that triggers another automation that sets into action the next thing. Maybe it starts a project for them and assigns the right people. And then the project starts, and then you go into your mode with the Kanban boards, and you work the problem, and then you respond to them directly from that. Maybe you can respond directly from the Kanban board, or you can start a timer directly from there. All these things is what we're moving towards, so that this support ticket system becomes really a communication system that fits into all the other pieces that we have, so that you can really build a high level support organization around it, complete with the legal side taken care of, complete with the timers taken care of, complete with the onboarding, the contracts, all the things that you need around that. The SLAs are all done, and everything is happening, but it's all in the same platform, the same portal. That is a, sort of another level that
Yes.
a vanilla support ticket system will say, yeah, we can do all that, but oh wait, you want to take a payment first? Eek. Let's start talking widgets, integrations, and Zapier. And then for every other thing that you say, that's their answer, right? So,
Right.
and all those things cost more money, by the way. And then you're responsible for setting up all those pipes and hoses. And if they don't work, you're responsible for fixing them, right? So who has
Yes.
time for that? As Georgia Brown, I think, said one day. Uh, did I get her name right? Ain't nobody got time for that. That's or are we? Or is this another way to prove that we're dated, Alex?
Right. Right.
Okay. All right. So
What
yeah, go ahead.
what is
Sorry.
that? The talk tick?
Oh no, yeah. Maybe I'll send you a link later. So maybe I'm the only one that's dated. Okay. So yes, the roadmap kind of features LMS support tickets. Those are a big deal for us, and we're excited. We are also working now. Just one more thing to say, and maybe this is something that you might want to hear, Alex, is that we are
Yeah.
developing a certification program for SuiteDash, what we call SuiteDash Wizards. Okay, and a SuiteDash
Ah,
Wizard will be your best friend as you start into the platform. Uh, there will be opportunities to get, sometimes in some cases, complimentary session with the SuiteDash Wizard, like a kickoff session, so that you can, after you upgrade, you'll get to schedule this session and you'll get to sit for, get that session with it for an hour with a wizard and say, all right, here's my problem, here's my challenges, here's what I need to accomplish. And then the SuiteDash Wizard will say, excellent, and start working with you to organize that and make a strategy and send you on your way with an action plan and with a few extra answers that you wouldn't have been able to get so easily any other way. And those will be actual SuiteDash employees or SuiteDash certified wizards slash trainers. So this is something that we're putting together now that I think will have a big impact on those that are starting and really help them guarantee their success.
Yes. And actually, I meant to talk to you about that because I would be definitely interested in the wizards because it would be great if my team members would be able to, be trained properly in
Mm-hmm.
SuiteDash so that we can even someday become, a part of your wizard team too. So
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, and that is a challenge. Let's just talk about that. You're talking about training your team. One of the biggest challenges of implementing a software into a business is the adoption, right? So you might find a great, incredible tool, and you know for sure this is going to work for us.
yes,
Um, but are you going to be able to get it past Bill? Are you going to be able to get it past this other person? This person who's maybe for whatever reason, we all work with people that, sometimes they just kind of want to be stubborn, right? Or lazy, or, they're just, and of course, there's no Bill. I'm just talking, but you know what I mean.
yes, absolutely.
It's tough. It's a challenge. And something like SuiteDash, the easier we can make it for you to pass this knowledge and pass these procedures to your team, the better. And that's partially the onboard documentation. The what is white label, so that you have no problem hey, you just tell them, hey, if you have a question, click the lifesaver, read a little bit. It'll really help you. I mean, there's a lot of illustrations there and explanations. So that's one thing we do in that direction is provide that white label documentation without revealing that ourselves there. And then, of course, another thing would be, yeah, the SuiteDash Wizard program, which sounds like exactly a good fit for what you need. Yeah. Okay. Uh, well, Alex, I always like to ask before we, get too far, or at this stage, what could we be doing better? How could we improve? How could we make things better for you or your clients? This is what I'd like to know. Yeah, tell me what I could be doing better, what we could be doing better.
Oh, Mike, that's such a loaded question. I don't know. What can I say about a company who actually listens to the users? It's if and this is just throwing out. If I had to say something,
Yes.
it'd probably be um loading speed or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand it's there's a lot of moving parts. It's a server load, and I'm not a backend developer. I don't know what the challenges are,
Mhm.
but I feel like the trade-off though for all this
Well,
wonderful features.
sure. Yeah, and let's address that. Let's talk about it. So, Sweet Dash is we are, and I have no problem saying that I think for sure we are the first all-in-one concept out there. No one was thinking of this, in my opinion, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So we started building, and of course, um, technology changes, frameworks get better,
Yes,
technology gets better. So this is what we call SuiteDash is what we call a legacy project in the development world. And what it means is some of our technology is of course proven technology. It's been working for years, and it's not unproven. It's 100% safe, secure, and reliable. But the most modern technology is now what they call JavaScript frameworks, which means you've heard of React, and you've heard of Vue and Angular, and these are
yes,
JavaScript frameworks. And what the big advantage to them is once you load that framework into that browser, it becomes what they call a one-page application, which is really cool. And so then you have the front end is sitting there in front of you like a piece of software that never and there's no reloads. So everywhere you click, you're going from one place to the other, and you don't have that full browser reload that was much more common in the days when we were starting the project. Um,
yes.
But now that still exists. It's optimized to the maximum of what it can be optimized for, and we're working to do that all the time. But we are also m- moving and already have moved in certain parts of the platform, like say proposals or deals, or there are several places, template library, and these other things that are built in this one page application style. The LMS is 100% one page application. So everywhere that we are working, we are, of course, building only in the most modern. So and even now, this is a little bit of a sneak. We're experimenting with a really cutting edge technology called micro front ends. So, those of you out there that are developers or interested in technology, you should look up micro front ends, because I really believe this is going to be the true cutting edge next of software. So we're experimenting there, and if this in our experiments work out, it means that we will be able to achieve a full one-page application status, or and look, I'm I have to say in our I have to say that SuiteDash is so big that achieving that will be a challenge. It's not a challenge we can't handle, but it's a challenge that I have to be really transparent about. Uh, but this micro front end concept has the potential to take us to a full one page application uh, place scenario much faster than maybe we used to think, and I'm excited about that. So um, yes, so loading speed is something that can become an issue. For me, I sometimes I'm not. It's hard for me to relate, because of course we do webinars where I'm live clicking from one place to the other and functioning and working, and uh, certainly 100% usable for your certain standard. But if you're used to seeing that one page application, I can understand, and that's of course why we're addressing it in a very aggressive way. So yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about that. Good.
Oh, well, yes. Well, at least I get to use my fancy loading graphics.
All right, Alex. Okay, so yes, I'm okay with admitting that. Um, well, we thought custom loader sounds really cool, and then the joke around here is that one day when we nail, which we will, nail the one page application setup, and nobody's complaining about loading time. The joke is that one day someone will complain, and they'll say, "Hey, can you slow the platform down a little bit, because I really like seeing my loading my animated loader, right?" So that is my goal, to make that a reality. I can't wait to see the first ticket come in that when someone asks us to slow things down so they can see their custom loader. That's funny you say
Awesome.
that. All right, so uh, I'm just curious if you've had an experience with feature requests. So one of the things we kind of pride ourselves on, and you talked about it before, uh, if something is not existing in SuiteDash yet, or maybe you find that there's a small little road, a speed bump that you say, well, this is great, but it would be a lot better like this. We do our best to provide a forum for you in the sense of the community, and also vote.suitedash.com to give you a voice as a community to vote things up and increase that number, and tell us as a community what you need. Have you had any experience with that feature request sort of pathway, and what kind of results there? What kind of experience? I'm just curious.
Mike, I'm glad you asked. I mean, for the most part, there are several requests that I would like, but by the time I take a look in the upvote section, it's already somebody else has already,
Of course, right. Uh-huh.
mentioned it, or is working on, or by next week it's active, and I'm like, wow, you know, you guys are
Sometimes.
really listening.
Sometimes
Yes.
that, yeah, that's not all the time, but I do have a little bit of pride in the fact of saying that if you go to vote.suitedash.com, which anybody can do right now, It's open to the public. And look at the requested features and functionalities. Out of the top 50, I would say 75% of them are either in planning or completed or in active development. So these are the things we're working on.
Yes, but Mike, if you allow me to be a little bit selfish here, I'm gonna
Please.
take advantage of this opportunity here.
Okay, yeah.
I have 3 requests,
Okay.
and I'm greedy.
Good. 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 And I bet you are not the only one. So please, yeah, go right ahead.
All right, so what, and this is more of the feature already exists. I'm not sure how easy this is to implement. If it's just, oh, it's already working, we can add this on, or what it is,
Okay.
because I'm sure you guys are swamped with a lot of requests and working and planning, But one of them for me is like the ability to like duplicate or clone everything, like clone a business, or I'm a reseller,
Mm-hmm.
so cloning a whole profile after
Mm-hmm.
I build out this fancy portal, it would be cool. I'm not sure if this is possible, but to be able to just clone the whole thing after I create it for a business, I could just clone it.
Sure. Well,
Um,
reseller profiles, Alex, is where you want to look. Okay, so
ah,
what we don't have, and I can explain all the reason why. We don't have the ability to just clone an entire account. The reason is that when you're creating these in the database, all these associations that they go in as IDs, association IDs, and the ability to just kind of uh, perfectly replicate that in another place and they operate the same way. There's a few logical issues there. But what we did is created what we call reseller profiles, which allows you to say, for example, build email templates and contract templates and portal page templates and all sorts of assets inside the platform that would be, say, for example, um, applicable to a niche. So maybe you want to create a portal that really caters to accountants, and you want to build a lot of content there around accountants, so that when you deliver or when you pitch, you can say, "Hey, not only am I going to give you a portal, but also I'm going to include our portal includes pre-written, pre-formatted, pre-done content related to email marketing, drip campaigns, contracts are all there, everything's all there for you." And then those reseller profiles allow you that when you create a new reseller child account, you can select the profiles that you want to add into that account, and those are automatically added into the account,
oh,
because the branding and everything will be different in the end, right? So that
yes.
part you really don't want to replicate. But what we provide is to replicate the really core pieces of content that move from one to the other, and then you're delivering a generic solution that you can then uh, customize based on each client individually. So check out reseller profiles as a response, and then whatever is still lacking there, then please, yeah, just follow the process and see what we can come up with.
Yes, I'll definitely check that out.
Okay.
It's it's new and exciting, so I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I'm going to of course, when we finish our wizard training.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so here's another one. All right, are
Mm-hmm.
you ready, Mike?
I'm ready, sir.
This one is going to be big.
Ah,
The ability to add primary contacts to multiple companies. So here's how this came about, right?
mm-hmm.
So we built a portal for a client, and they loved it so much. They came to me and says, Alex, can you? I have another company. Can you build one like this?
Mm-hmm.
It's a happy problem to have, but
Well, you'll be happy to know, Alex, it's a common problem. It's a common request. It's right up there, I think, with LMS. And you know where it's coming from primarily is from the CPA accounting bookkeeping niche. Okay, so makes perfect sense. You have a rock and roll businessman. He does not have only one corporation, right? He's out there
yes,
rocking. He's got three, four, five. Some of them own each other. I mean, it gets complicated, right?
Yes.
So these accountants, they bring that client in. They need to associate multiple companies with that single primary contact, and so we definitely understand that. We have a full that's a planned task that's just waiting for its turn to start. But the way it will work is, which is pretty cool, is that as a part of this, we will also make the ability to associate accounts, and after a one-time confirmation. So what I mean is, if, for example, your client has a single account and they want to uh, use a quick switcher to switch between them, we'll allow them to do that, but only after we set up. They go through a confirmation process, which is really just an email confirmation. But after that, it's all self-serve. You won't be involved. So after we get this, after they're able to be the primary contact of multiple companies, they'll be able to use even that extended feature and then log in one time and just quick switch using a nice switcher from one company to the other and operate that way. So I think that will serve your needs. Yeah.
Yes.
Sound right?
Awesome.
Okay, good, good,
Awesome.
good.
Awesome. And without pushing it too much, so I noticed when I was sharing files to a client
hmm
that, and this is new,
hmm
that when you open a PDF, there are some little tools that pop up that allow you to like do a
Like,
view page or like click on there.
yes.
I know this is an existing feature. It would be cool to be able to draw and comment on these files, whether it be like a PDF or a image. I think that would be an awesome proofing tool.
Yeah.
And this is me again, using SuiteDash
hmm
parts and pieces of it in a completely different way.
No, not completely different. In fact, again, something that we have heard, and you noticed the change in the PDF preview. And it used to be a little more plain vanilla, but now it's much more robust. And that, you'll be happy to hear, Alex, is the first step towards exactly that, what you're talking about. Those tools with you could draw on a comment on the right side. There is a commenting stream that will build that will allow you to touch touch a PDF or an image and build a comment around it that can be replied to. So yeah, you're really kind of hitting the nail on the head here. So that is a planned feature as well. Yes. In addition to PDF tools that will allow you to upload a PDF, drag signatures over top, and get your a signature on an existing PDF. Whereas now we provide contract functionality, but it's more like a Word document first that gets placeholders that then gets generated out to a PDF. But what if you have a PDF that's really specific and niche driven? It's already built. You don't want to have to rebuild it. That's fine. You want to upload it, drag some little boxes over the signatures, and assign those boxes, and then send that away for signature. That is also very short term in our planning. Yes.
Well, thanks, Mike. I really appreciate you sharing this inside information and with the plans. I'm not going to be greedy. I have 100 more requests, but I'm going to just go to upvote to the voting section of the SuiteDash website
Yes.
and
hmm
go ahead and submit, some more cool ideas.
Yeah. Throw them out there, and it's not just, you're not really throwing them out there just to us. You're exposing them to the community, and who knows how many people will run across it and say, actually, that's a really great idea. I could totally use that.
Yes,
And then enough people say that, the votes go up. Suddenly, we're paying attention, and light bulbs go off over here, and then next thing you know, it's in the platform somewhere.
absolutely, absolutely.
Very nice. Okay, well, we talked about feature requests. We talked about how we could get better, and thank you very much for all that feedback. That's amazing. Um, so I think that you have told us that you're interested in SuiteDash certification, and you're just in a perfect place for that, Alex. In the future as a website designer, in my opinion, is unfortunately, maybe not the brightest, because website building has been sort of commoditized, and as many things get, right? You, as the technology of web builders and things have gotten very strong to the point where a regular business owner sometimes, a lot of times mistakenly, believes that they can handle things, right? Well, I'm going to handle this. I can do it. I can do it. And they do it, and it's sort of half. Maybe it's not really functional. The SEO's not even been paid attention to. Many things, many things. But so web designers still, of course, need to be part of our world. But what I think is stronger, and I really see the future for gentlemen like yourself who is savvy with technology and understands how it can benefit a business. If you walk into a business and you lead with, I'm not a, maybe not lead with web design, maybe lead with process design, or maybe lead with um, complete web presence and automations, or lead with, I can automate your business. So that's for sure something that they don't know how to do. And now you have become a provider of something that they have no visibility on, which is, of course, business is a black box. When you run a business, when you have a skill that nobody else wants to learn or do, that's something you can charge for, and that's the way business works. If you walk in and say, I can automate your business, and they say, cool, how's that work? Well, here's how it works. It's all white, it's all only your brand, and and then you introduce them to the possibilities. Then suddenly you're a guide for them. You're guiding them, much in the way of the Donald Miller books. And I want to mention also, while I'm here, really quick, when you were talking about the challenges of going from a solopreneur or a freelancer to a business owner, if you haven't read yet the E-Myth um, book, that's probably 15 or 20 years old now, just look up E-Myth on Amazon, and you should read that book, because that book tells you basically the summary of is, as a business owner, you are not, it's not your job to do the work. Yes, of course you have to do the work. What your job is to build processes and mechanisms that ensure the work always gets done no matter what and no matter who's doing it. So you're basically you're crafting a workflow, you're crafting automations that ensure that the business can always survive, and one day can survive without you, which maybe is a little bit of a hit on your self-worth. But yeah, you think, oh, no one else can do it. Well, maybe, but actually the smart thing for you to do is figure out how someone else can do it, and only in that way you can scale your business. So if you are a small business and you're looking to get bigger, the first thing you need to be thinking about is processes, workflows, automations. And when you start from the beginning, it's much easier than pulling that trigger of realization and execution at the point where your back is against the wall, you're dropping balls, things have gotten so busy that now you have to pull everything apart and rebuild it to reach that level. It's really smart to try to think about that and those kind of challenges before you get in a bad place. So sorry, a little side note there.
No, I actually absolutely agree with you. In fact, I'm not worried about the future of website building at all. Actually, in fact,
Yeah.
I sometimes lead the conversation in my sales pitch. I would say, hey, yeah, I don't think you need a website really.
There you
You can
go.
do everything just a landing page and you know good automation, and you're right. It's all about building processes that would help clients to get a better investment on um, a better return on their investment.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's one of our slogans. You know, get results. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, most business owners don't care about you know a website or anything. They've been told by someone that, hey, you know you need a website, but really
Mm-hmm.
what they need is more business, and that's what we do. And I think having great tools like SuiteDash and other tools that we use
Mm-hmm.
um enables us to level the playing field where we could help our customers to navigate this digital, um, large, vast digital domain.
Yes.
You know, I, I, I can't wait to try out the features in SuiteDash, having everything in one place.
Yeah, I like
You
that
know,
you said level the playing field. I
yes,
think that's really a core piece of what's available in that this level of branding and functionality and the things that are in the mobile app and the things that are available to you for $99 a month at the most or something like that, right? Um,
which Mike is unheard of.
Unheard of, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
there's I won't deny that. For all the things that we have, you can look at the just look at our website. I mean, the numbers just can't be faked, and this is real. So,
it is.
um, how can we do that? Because we started from the beginning with the concept. We're not adapting. We didn't start as a single vertical and then try to add other things. We started from the beginning, and so that's the reason that we can say, well, we're running one code base here. We're running one software team, one organization. We don't have 3 floors in an office building in Silicon Valley to pay for. That's what, 50 G's a month. And we don't have those kind of things going on. We're a remote team. We from all over the world. Most of us in the management's in the U.S., but of course we have friends and colleagues all around the world, and they all share this sort of vision of building something like this that's approachable and usable and actually affordable by a small medium business. So
Right.
we are leveling the playing field. We're providing enterprise level automation and functionality to a business that's just getting started with a small budget. I think it really helps. Hopefully, it's really helping a lot of people. Yeah, great.
Awesome.
Well, Alex, I think we have done a good job of just hearing your story, hearing your feedback, and letting the listeners get some insight into what SuiteDash is, what it can do, what it is doing for you, what it is doing for thousands of SuiteMates. And so, of course, my goal is to illuminate that as much as possible. Tell me, let's look at Pixeworks, and let's just talk about how people can get in touch with you, Alex, and take advantage of your expertise to boost their business.
Yes. So you can reach me at pixeworks.com. That's Pixe works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a typo. It's actually smashing Pixel and Works together. And
Yeah,
that's a whole story in itself. But www.pixeworks.com. And of course, you know, smash that starter project button and,
there you go.
or reach out to us um, by phone or email. And one of our representatives will get back with you and see how we could best, you know, help you out, get you up and running
Exactly.
and
And
get more great results.
my guess is that if someone calls you, they really have nothing to lose, and what they can walk away from is at least with your good advice, right? And
Yes.
say, well, Alex really knows what he's doing, and maybe it's not right for me right now, but now next time I have an interaction related to this, I'm gonna have a lot more knowledge in my head. And so, this I think it's good to encourage people. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. We're not gonna, Alex is not gonna jump you and try to sell you everything under the sun. He's smart enough to know that the best thing he can do is just to educate you, just to say, well, okay, tell me your situation. If it was me, here's what I would do. You have these options. This is approximately what how that would work, and that's it. Just a friendly conversation about that. And of course, Alex might mention the possibility of a white label portal and invoicing and all those other things. But in your best interest, of course, right, Alex? I mean, I think it's
Absolutely.
awesome to be able to empower all these businesses with this kind of stuff. I'm glad you are representing SuiteDash to those folks, and uh, in a way that's just natural, and because you saw it work it worked for you, it worked for your clients, so, and now you're excited to continue that, and I appreciate it. It's really awesome to meet you and hear your story, and say hi to Tamara for me. Maybe she's right there with you, but as someone, I met Tamara also the other day, and just really
Yes.
enjoyed meeting some of my fellow North Carolinians. But we have, of course, SuiteDash is international, but it's nice to meet
Right.
someone from down the street, down the road. So it's been a pleasure, Alex. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll let you go and get back to work.
And
Um,
thank you, Mike, for having us.
y-
We really, really appreciate this conversation, and keep doing the good work. This is an amazing tool, and you are going to help so many businesses, small businesses, level this playing field, getting more results, because that's what we're into. That's the business we're into, and I think this is the beginning of a great partnership.
mhm.
Um, and lots more great things to come. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you again, Alex. Thank you. And everyone, please just head over to pixeworks.com, Pixeworks.com, and give Alex a look and chat him up, start him up, and see what we can do there. He'll take good care of you. I've seen some of his work and just interacted with him, and I just have a lot of confidence that you'd be in good hands there, and probably a lot of other places, but for sure with Alex here. Thanks again, Alex. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have a great day. See you in the next one.